So today we're taking over the Cincinnati Reds, a team in the Central that I think has a really bright future. Obviously, they need to make the right signings, and I think this past offseason they went out and got pitching, which is something that they definitely needed, but I still think they need a little bit more offense. I think once a couple more of their prospects start to hit MLB ready status, it'll definitely help out. But today, I want to take them and I want to go win them another World Series. For today's video, this is the roster that I'm using. It's the Franchise Fidelity to Reality update. So as you can see, transactions, overall potential changes for how the season's been so far. It came out on the 13th. So there it is. That's what I'm using for today. So with this Reds team, I do think they've got a good future, a bright future. I do still think they're kind of missing those like top tier players, or maybe just some more consistent players, not just with the pitching, but also the offensive side of things. Like if you take a look at the pitching, I feel like it's a solid pitching core, right? There's nothing that really like blows me away. Like you don't have like a Garrett Cole or a Spencer Strider, someone that's like a top tier pitcher, but there's some good promise with Green, Abbott, Lodolo, Ashcraft, Connor Phillips. There's some good, exciting arms there. The additions of Montas and Martinez for like veteran depth, that's good. You need those guys in your rotation and in your pitching staff. Same thing with the additions of Suter and Pagan, and I feel like they added a couple other bullpen arms. But if you kind of look at what we're rocking with for the major league squad, this is what we've got. I know the bullpen has had some issues this year, especially Diaz, who's just looked completely different than what he did last year. But again, I feel like they went out this offseason, they got what they needed and a little bit more pitcher depth and also some veterans. But it'll be interesting to see how they move forward with it, because how does Green, Abbott, Lodolo, and Ashcraft develop? Are they going to be those top tier pitchers, or are you going to have to go out and spend on a free agent or trade for one of those top tier pitchers? Because I think they have the ability to be a good pitcher. It's just, can they develop into that? Lineup wise, outfield, I know there's been some injuries kind of sprinkled around the team, but Fraley, Friedel, Benson, like those are okay outfielders. But again, like I do feel like you need to kind of maybe upgrade in the future. So we'll see what we can do with this team. Elly De La Cruz looks like the superstar that everyone expected him to be. Is shortstop his position? We'll have to wait and see, but he's got the arm, he's got speed, he's got power, he's got everything you're looking for. He's even walking. It looks to be like Elly De La Cruz is definitely the guy for the Reds moving forward. Candelario was a fine addition this offseason. And then obviously Spencer Steer's kind of like that consistent bat, even though I know he's not really putting up the crazy numbers like he did last year. I know he's going through a little bit of a cold streak right now, but overall, I don't hate this Reds team. I think it's pretty good. I know they've got a couple other prospects as well. Currently suspended is Noelvi Marte, doing the roids. There's also Arroyo, who I think is injured in real life. So two prospects for the future. I know there's another one in Hector Rodriguez, who's getting a little bit of hype right now. Strikes out a lot, but we'll see how he develops. Still only 20 years old. And there's a few others within this organization. So there is some players to be excited about. We'll just see what we can do with this squad. I do still think upgrade a couple positions. So let's hop into it. Let's get to the draft for the Reds. All right, so the Reds have the second pick, which is awesome. I don't know if I'm going to take Shinji Saito just because he looks like he's going to be like 50 something overall. He looks great. The issue I have with him is he doesn't strike out anybody. He walks players and lacks control. He also is injured, which I don't really like. This guy looks decent, but again, he walks people, doesn't have the control, but also really doesn't have velocity. Interesting. I'm intrigued by this guy. Probably somewhere in the 60s. He's got some pop. The contact vision and discipline is a little bit of a worry, but overall looks good. Speed, okay-ish fielding. So there's that. Then there were some relievers who I'm not so high on. This guy looks okay. I think he'll be a fine pick. It's just the per-9s are looking a little low, so he looks more like a project. But if I wanted to reach on a player, where is he? He was a position player. Where is he? Here he is. James Roush or Rush, whichever you prefer. I know it says he's 17th on our board, but he's going to be somewhere in the 60s. He's got great potential. He's a little bit older, so he's a guy that could step into the team immediately. He's giving me Spencer Steer vibes with maybe a little less power. Good contact, good vision, discipline, can play third, can play left. He's got okay fielding, okay speed. He looks like this would be the safe option if we need to go that route. There's also a couple pitchers that I like. There's a couple other position players that I like this guy. is a little bit more of a project. There is this one that also looks pretty good. I know 21 on the draft board, but looks to be somewhere in the 50s, maybe the 60s. The hitting stats are what really makes him intriguing. It looks like he's going to hit well with just no power and can't field. So he looks like he has that standard outfield build for MLB The Show. Short player, good contact, good vision, decent discipline, and no fielding but good speed. Kind of that build that we normally see. So there's a few players that I'm intrigued in, a couple players that I scouted for later on in the draft, but also a lot of good pitchers. So I think this is going to be one of those where first round, I either take that center fielder if he falls to us at the second pick, which I hope he does, or this third baseman, and then I go pitcher heavy. So we're gonna have to wait and see. We have the second pick, so there's a chance the guy falls to us. Does he? Let's see. The Guardians are gonna choose long hair, which I believe that outfielder had. They're gonna take the outfielder, Bob Zimmerman. Okay. So I'm gonna take like a minute to think about this, because I'm gonna run through all the pitchers really quick, see if there's someone that might fall to us in the second round. We have 2 second round picks, which is awesome. So I'm gonna run through my options, see what we're looking like, and then I'll go and make a decision, and I'll show you who we go with. All right, so I'm gonna take James Roush or Rush, whichever it is, out of Canada. That's going to be my pick. I just think that with the potential and the current overall, this is probably the best player that we could go with, and someone that could easily hop into the team. Maybe more of an outfielder. We'll probably stick him in left field, but because we do have third base, shortstop, second base, all those positions covered, I think this is an okay pick. And then the third pick, I'm normally not in the top 3, so I kind of forget about this, is going to be Damian Sweat. Okay, Rockies. All right, with our second pick, I'm going to go with Rivas. I feel like this is another one of those safe picks. Like, nothing really stands out. Like, it just looks very well-rounded. He's probably going to be somewhere in the 60s with like 80-something potential. I'm okay with this. This is one of those guys that could probably fill out the bottom of the rotation, maybe a long reliever, maybe even turn into a middle reliever. I know you don't really want to do that with your second-round pick, but you know what? We'll take him. He just looks to be a safe pick. And I know I'm going with a couple safe picks to start with, but I actually kind of want some impact draft picks. I want guys that can kind of help us out immediately, just because I feel like that's kind of like the time frame for the Reds. We have like maybe 2 seasons before we really start to see Ellie hit his heights. McLean, you know, you're going to have Arroyo, Marte, a couple of those other young guys, Green, Lodolo, Ashcraft, and who's the other one that I'm missing? Connor Phillips are going to be mid to late 20s. So I feel like this is kind of that time frame for the Reds. And then here I'm just going to take Eric Fernandez, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna take Fernandez. He's ranked 13th on our board, and I think from here on out, I'm just gonna take whoever I can. I'm not really sure who I'm gonna choose. These are guys that are on my board. We'll see if they fall to them, but I'll see you guys once we get to probably the draft pick screen, where we see if we signed him or not, because I don't know if I'm gonna make too many trades this year. All right, I lied. I'm at the deadline. I need some moves. I need some bullpen help. We're gonna go Hunter Harvey of the Nationals, developing well, doing really well. We need like that closer, just because Diaz is also not doing really well in this save. So Carlos Jorge and Alfredo Duno, we're gonna trade them. I know. I also didn't talk about Cam Collier, who I know is a highly rated prospect in the Reds organization. There's a few others, a lot of young guys in this team. So I don't even know if they'll like feature. It just really depends on how they develop. Maybe Hector Rodriguez, based off his hitting stats. Maybe Jay Allen. You know, I know Reese Hines. We'll see. But I definitely needed that bullpen help. So I'm gonna send down Fernando Cruz, because he's been one of the worst pitchers for our team so far this year. And then I'm also gonna send down Buck Farmer. That's who I wanted to send down, Buck Farmer. And then I think I'm just gonna rock with one less pitcher, and we're gonna go something like this for now. The pitching's fine. We just don't really have anybody to call up currently. And lineup wise, I don't really know who I'm gonna call up. I guess somebody in AAA. Let's see here. Maybe Connor Capel, I guess. Is he on the 40 man? He's not. Do I have spots on the 40 man? I have one spot. We'll call him up. I think, did he get DFA'd by the team in real life? I don't remember, but he's just filling out the roster for the rest of the season. There's some good, there's some bad for sure. Don't like seeing this, but I'm gonna have faith in the team. We're currently holding down the 3rd wild card spot, so like I feel like we're doing well. Do I trade for an outfielder? I feel like we need an outfielder. I feel like we need an outfielder. Anybody on the block that I like? I don't want McCormick, not McCarthy, not Palacios. No, not Palacios, not Seth Brown. I'm gonna find an outfielder. I feel like maybe center field. Yeah, let's get like a starting center. I guess Friedel's playing center field, so maybe a right fielder. Because like Steer can hold it down and left, along with our guy that we drafted that's potentially going to be there. So maybe a right fielder. Is this who I want? No, I'm going to find a right fielder. I know we just called up Connor Capel, but Jesse Winker's back in the Reds uniform. I know. He's not a long-term piece, but I'm looking at his numbers currently. 20 home runs, good on-base percentage, good OPS. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Adds a little bit more to the team. I know it's not necessarily something I was looking for, but I've shuffled up the team a little bit, and I think this is good enough for the rest of the season. I'm thinking I'm gonna go something like that. I shouldn't even had Stevenson in the 4th spot to begin with. So this is the team now. We'll see how it goes. I think it should be good enough to hold us down, and I'm like double checking to make sure I have everything else how it should be. Am I really gonna lead off? I guess that's what we're rocking with for the rest of the season. Again, like if we miss the postseason, it would suck, but at the same time, I'm okay with it because I didn't really predict to be in the postseason this season. So let's just see what happens. I'm one day out from signing all my players, which I wasn't even at the deadline, but that's okay. We'll let them fix that. We'll go past the deadline. And then I believe I've signed everybody, which I have. Perfect. And now we just go to the next day and look at the draft picks. I'm just saying that's a pretty good draft right there. This catcher, not great. 78 potential is not bad, but definitely 50 overall is not great. But that's what I'm talking about. It gives me a little bit of a Spencer Steer vibes. Like I said, not the power, but okay fielding, okay speed, decent hitting stats, can play third, can play left. I think this guy can definitely help us out. I think I'm going to move him to left, and we'll go from there. Rivas, 65 overall with 84 potential. So the potential is not the greatest, but I'm pretty happy with that. 8 potential for Fernandez, 8 potential for Fegan. I'm going to go with that. We've got Osuna, a potential center fielder with a lot of power and speed. Blanco, C potential, and then McCarthy, A potential. I'll go around the league and see if there was a generational talent or just like a crazy good player. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the draft. Decent shortstop for the Giants, good fielding speed and okay hitting stats, but I've kind of also looked. This guy looks pretty good, second baseman. This guy also looks good. We talked about him. He was one of the higher rated guys on our draft board, but 58 overall, don't really see him making the team. And I've looked around. This guy also looked good. He was on my radar. I had him scouted, but we had him at like, I want to say on the board at like 60, maybe 70. So I was kind of hoping I could have gotten him in the 2nd round, but he ended up being a 1st round pick for the Rays. And that's really about it. I mean, there's some good players. This was the guy that I wanted for our 1st pick, number 2 overall, but I'm actually kind of glad that we didn't get him. The vision, the discipline, no fielding. I don't know. It's just, I don't think he's going to translate and do well at the major league level. Justin Rode, not bad, but overall, I'm pretty happy with our picks. Domingo Velez looks pretty good. This is someone that I definitely could have taken, but overall, I'm pretty happy with our draft class. Like really happy with our draft class. I mean, blue and a potential for a majority of our picks. I like that. So season's over. We're 86 and 76. We won the wild card spot. All right, I guess we should say we made the postseason. We're a wild card team taking out the Padres, which, to be honest, kind of surprised me. I wasn't sure if we were going to hold on to the wild card spot that we had, and luckily we did. Somehow we did. But hey, it's good enough. So league. Ooh, let me check this first. That's not right. All right, so looking at team rankings, I just kind of want to get an idea. We were a top 10 team for batting average. That's pretty good. Runs wise, we are middle of the pack though. So we're we're hitting the ball. We're just not capitalizing on our run opportunities, our scoring opportunities, runner in scoring position opportunities. What about ERA? How we looking? We are 11th. Actually, not bad. Not bad. League leaders. TJ Friedel had the most stolen bases. And okay, I mean, 218 hits for Luis Arraez is pretty impressive. But looking at this, I'm not noticing too many Reds. And then if we take a look at awards, Shohei's winning MVP, Yordan's winning MVP. Understandable, they normally do. Cy Young went to DeGrom and Logan Webb. And then if we take a look at the batting title, Arraez, who hit 342, which is pretty impressive. Justin Casas hit 316 on the AL side. Clay Holmes and Edwin Diaz, relievers of the year. And Marco Luciano, rookie of the year. Okay, and Colton Cowser wins it on the AL side. So if we take a look at our two, we're going to rock with a 4-man rotation for the playoffs. Nick Martinez was kind of nice out of this long relief role. I'll take that. I think we've got one more season with Nick Martinez. I'm okay with that. That's a pretty good season. He developed a little bit. I feel like we can get one more year out of him. This was a bummer. Potential went down. Didn't really do well. He developed a little bit, but it's just not the best of seasons for Graham Ashcraft. Pagan was good. I think we had one more season of Emilio Pagan as well. Diaz took him out of the closer role. Look what happens. We put him in the middle relief, and he really turned it around. He had a 4.5, 5 ERA, brought it down to a 3. Sam Moll, really good season for the lefty. Brent Suter, hopefully he becomes a free agent. Yeah, he's starting to regress pretty heavily. So I think if I can get him cheap, I might bring him back just in case. But if not, I feel like maybe we can find a new lefty in the offseason. And then Lucas Sims, not bad. It's just the whip's a little high. That could become an issue moving forward. How is potential going down? He had a good season. How is he? What? How is he regressing? How is he losing potential? I'm not saying he had to go up to a potential, but hold your potential, maybe hold your overall. He had a fairly good season. Yeah, the whip's a little high. Actually, the whip was in a really good spot. How is he regressing and how is he losing potential? I just don't understand that. Hunter Green, really solid season like that for sure. We've got Andrew Abbott. Whip's a little high, ERA's whatever, but I definitely wish we could do a little bit better. So 24, I fully expect him to develop. Lodolo was pretty solid, kind of a similar season as Abbott, and then Frankie Montas, pretty good. I might actually go something like this for the postseason. It just seems to be our best pitchers in that order. So lineup wise, Espinal, honestly not bad for a bench bat. There's no power, but the guy's hitting, right? Luke Maley was our backup catcher. I'm not too worried about his numbers. Jake Fraley was okay, right? He's starting to regress a little bit, but he was pretty solid as a bench bat. Not the worst. Stuart Fairchild, actually, his OPS was kind of nice. His slug was pretty good. And then Bubba Thompson didn't play at all. So he's just going to be our defensive, even though his defense isn't that great. He's going to be our base stealing expert off the bench. And at TJ Friedel, how we looking? Yeah, this is our leadoff hitter. This is our guy for sure. Plenty of team control moving forward. Probably don't want to get rid of him. Ellie De La Cruz, the numbers aren't going to be too great. I fully expect him to get better as the seasons go on. But yeah, not great. Candelario was good. Really like that. 20 home runs, good average on base percentage, OPS, all that stuff. Jesse Winker, I'm going to try to bring him back for another season. We'll see how much he costs, but 26 home runs, definitely need that in the lineup. Good OPS, good on base percentage, love it. Steer, again, really good season. Really like what I'm seeing from him. Jonathan India, surprisingly pretty good. 30 home runs. That's huge. Tyler Stevenson, how we looking? Little underwhelming. Will Benson was also pretty solid. I mean, from Will Benson, this is kind of what I expect. Good amount of home runs, good amount of doubles. Nothing too crazy. Maybe we can get a little something like 2023 for next year. But let's see how he does. We'll see also how free agency treats us, because we could upgrade in certain places. I'm not too sure where yet, but we'll see. And then Encarnacion Strand. Okay, right? Again, it's not bad. I definitely think we could do a little bit better, but it's not terrible. So heading into the postseason, how are we gonna do against the Padres? What lineup? So this is versus lefties. Okay, there we go. All right, so here we go. We are eliminated. Wow, 2 innings for Nick Lodolo. How many runs did he allow? Oh, okay. So he allowed what? So he only made it through the second. So there was 3 already on the board. So we were up 5-3, and then he allowed 6 in the third, most likely. And then it just went downhill from there. So tough loss. But I definitely think we can improve, right? It's just the first season. I wasn't even 100% sure we would make the postseason. So for us to do that, it's pretty big. And now heading into free agency, I feel like we can definitely improve this team. So Frankie Montas was decent, right? He was our second best pitcher, numbers wise. I don't know if I bring him back though. What does he want for a season? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. 13's not terrible, I'm not gonna lie, but let's just see what we can do. I don't know if Winker's gonna be an everyday guy, but for $5 million, either off the bench or just the DH, I like it. Lucas Sims, I think we can get maybe 2 years out of him. We'll go like this. We'll make him not a closer, but a bullpen option. And for $4 million, like $2 million over the next, like each season, yeah, give me some of that. Lucas Maley as a backup catcher wasn't the worst, so we'll at 34. I think we can get one more season. We'll give him $4 million. Buck Farmer, Brent Suter. What does Suter want for a season? $3 million. What does Buck Farmer want for a season? Less than that. All right, 1.7, and I'm gonna wait. I want to see what other lefties are available. So let's head into the offseason and let's see what we're gonna do. So free agency wise, Soto, Burns, Bregman, Max Fried. Okay, so it's gonna be like a pitcher, right? I definitely think we should go out and get a pitcher just to really solidify that rotation. I've talked about it. They definitely need it. I feel like that's gonna be my number one target for sure. I just don't know what else. Do I go Juan Soto? That'd be kind of crazy, but I also feel like if you can go out and get Juan Soto, that's a big addition. Is there another? I also gotta see what we gotta do to balance the lineup. I guess I could sneak in another lefty if I really wanted to. Interesting. I don't know. Don't really need a shortstop. You know, obviously we're getting Max McClain back because he was injured all year. So I don't know. I'm gonna look. I'm also not 100% sold on Tyler Stevenson. Like obviously this is gonna be McClain, Ellie De La Cruz at short's fine. Candelario, we've got 2 more seasons, or I guess 1 more season after this upcoming one. Spencer Steer's good. Friedel in center. Right field, I feel like Benson will give him another shot. Like, not another shot, but another season to prove himself. So either DH or we just go crazy with a pitcher. Okay, I think maybe we'll see. I do think a pitcher is definitely on the list though, so let's see what we can do. All right, let's talk about season 2 here, because offensively I didn't make any changes. Matt McClain's back. Our bench is pretty deep in terms of having quite a few players. It sucks. Jonathan India actually had a really good season. It's just, how do I get him into this team? Actually, he is going to DH here, and I don't think I ordered this lineup at all, but I think now I'm gonna move some things around. Hold on, let's go. I think I'm gonna leave it actually. Oh wait, no, Matt McClain needs to get into the team, and then that means I don't know where he goes. Maybe something like this. I guess that works for lefties, but anyways, what I was saying was I'm babbling. I'm not staying on topic. This is the lineup. Matt McClain's back. Marte is gonna be in AAA to start this season. It does have a little bit of competition with James Rush. James, the Canadian. He's in AA, and we also have Edwin Arroyo for the infield, which is kind of why I'm thinking maybe we make him a left fielder, just because I think it kind of opens up the infield a little bit, just because we do kind of have a cluttered infield. So with that in mind, this is where we spent our money. $30 million each year for the next 3 years for Corbin Burns. He's coming off of a pretty decent season. It wasn't his best, but you know what? $30 million for 3 seasons. If we went to 4 years, he started wanting a little bit more money, and I just felt like, you know what? Let's not get greedy. Let's do 3. So this is the team currently. We do have Ashcraft sitting here in AAA to kind of work back from this pretty tough season that he had. And then the bullpen, we do have a couple guys on waivers. I did bring in another guy. We're going to bring the Kettering native Andrew Chafin, just north of Cincinnati. I thought, you know what, maybe we'll do like a little send-off, bring him home, see how he does. We also just needed another lefty in the bullpen anyways, so there we go. This is the squad. We're gonna rock with it. We'll see how it goes. I feel like we got our pitcher that we've been talking about in Corbin Burns, that top tier pitcher to hold down that A spot with Green, Lodolo, Abbott right behind him. We'll see how Frankie Montas does in a second season as a Red. He had a pretty good year last year, and for 15 mil, I thought it wasn't a bad deal. Nick Martinez is going to hold down this spot, and then the bullpen is the bullpen. We'll see. I'm a little worried about the bullpen, I'm not going to lie. And then I think the offense will be sneaky good. And then if we need to make any changes, sure, we'll do it. So let's get to it. Let's go to the draft. So I've got about 11 players on my draft board that I want for my first pick. And this is kind of the order that I want them in. Maybe like the pitchers I just kind of grouped together just because they were there. But this guy I definitely want towards the bottom. This guy I definitely want towards the bottom. So let's just talk about who we have at number 19. We have number 19 and 37, I believe it is. And we don't have a second round pick because of the Corbin Burns signing. So we do have a compensatory pick at 37. So that pick is, if all the guys that I want are gone, basically what I'm going to do with that pick is I might reach a little bit just because we don't have a second round pick. And I might just go after a guy that I think has high potential and will be fine. And then from 3rd through 6th, I probably won't show you just because I don't know. I don't really like a lot of the players in the draft this year. So let's just talk about the first pick. These first 2 picks are kind of the most important because that's kind of where I feel like the best players are for this draft. So Michael Ferguson, he's ranked number 1 according to our scouts. He looks good. So if we get him, that'd be great. Corson, we have him at number 4. He looks pretty solid. Potential might be a little bit lower, but the overall is probably going to be a little bit higher. He looks solid. So if we can get him, that'd be great. Same thing with Workman. You know, like 3 pitchers that I'd be pretty happy getting at our pick at number 19. Then we have this outfielder who's currently injured, which worries me a little bit, but the injury risk is low, so we might be able to get away with it. Doesn't look to be a great fielder in terms of reaction and arm, but I think he's going to be someone that's going to hit really well. So I'd be okay getting him, but I think he's more of like a guy that I would drop down my board a little bit. So we'll see what happens, obviously. Hartman's another one I think I'd like. We do need an outfielder. It looks like he's going to be able to hit and field, even though the fielding's low, but like the arm and the reaction are good. So, you know, do with that as you'd like. Huey Bowser, I only scouted him 1 time and his rank didn't change at all. So it makes me think that's kind of where he's sitting in terms of being 17th on the board. Again, just looks super well-rounded. If we can get him, cool. Morrison, kind of the same thing, plays the corner spots, looks solid, looks like he can field. Brooks Posado, also kind of similar to Morrison, looks like he's going to be able to hit okay, more of a glove first guy. And then these guys are kind of like, hey, if they fall to us, great, but these are definitely my last options, my plan Z's. So there we go. Royce Washington, there's that. He looks good. It's just the potential is probably going to be a little bit lower, but a higher overall. And then Vesperas is like, we'll see what happens. So let's get to the draft. If I can get 2 of these guys, I would be a very happy camper. I would definitely be pitching a tent. So let's do this. Start the draft. The Royals. Who do we have here? Who's going to go number 1 overall? It's going to be Danny Wilson, who we had at 13th, but MLB had him at 4. So it's still a pretty decent pick for number 1. Number 2 goes to the White Sox. It's going to be one of our pitchers and Gregory Workman, which is a bummer. And then this was, who is this? I forgot who the 3rd pick was. It's the Athletics. They go Tom Russell, pitcher. Okay. Let's just skip to our pick. Let's see what the damage is. Okay. So Huey Bowser went to the Red Sox at 4. The second baseman, Brooke, went to the Tigers. Okay, so that starter went there. Who else? The third baseman went to the Rays. The outfielder went to the Giants. And okay. Oh. Do I try to let Hartman slide to us in the second pick, right? I think that would be a very bold thing. I don't think any of these guys make it to the next pick. This is tough because like I definitely think we do need a pitcher, right? But I also do think we need an outfielder. And this guy looks like he can hit. He's not going to have any power, but he also like has speed and like decent arm reactions and everything like that. Decent vision, okay discipline. Ooh. I'm torn between Ferguson right now and Hartman. We do need an outfielder, right? But we could also trade for one. And I feel like with Burns, Green, Lodolo, Abbott, potentially Connor Phillips into the mix too, we don't necessarily need a pitcher. I would like a pitcher, but it's not like it's it's like a must. And I feel like we could definitely get a pitcher a little bit later too. Like if we could get him, like it's not the greatest, but I think we take the position player and go Matthew Hartman. I would love to see if he would fall to us at 37 or whatever it is. I just don't think it's gonna happen. So we're gonna go Matthew Hartman for our pick. There we go. I'm gonna reach a little bit with our second pick here. I think that's the only guys, because like I'm looking at the pitchers here. Basically what I was gonna say, I feel like that's kind of the best available pick at this spot. I guess I could go him. Actually, I might change my mind. I'm gonna go with Gomes here. I'm gonna take Mariano Gomes, and then we're gonna see if that guy makes it to us in the next round. Does he? There was a catcher I wanted to, and he didn't fall. So nope, none of the shortstops that I scouted made the list. So okay, that's a little that's not boring, but it is unfortunate. And so I was looking around at other pitchers too. I think I'm gonna take Infante here. He's gonna be like 80 potential. And then I think with our next pick, I'll round it out with Terrence Jackson. So I think that's kind of my draft. I'll leave it there. We're going to take Infante, like I said, and then I'll just talk to you guys probably at the deadline when we make some trades, and then we'll talk about the draft picks. The Orioles are going to give me Kobe Mayo, and he's been sitting in AAA. He's absolutely mashing, and I'm going to have him play third base for us. He doesn't look great defensively. He could also help us out at first base, which could become a problem for us soon. So he's going to play third base. He can play first base. He can play DH once Winker leaves, but I'm going to get rid of Reese Hines. The numbers aren't terrible. I just don't really know if he has a spot in the team right now with the way certain players are performing. This is the one where I'm like, man, he has been atrocious. I gave him 300 at bats and it was a fall off. And for 15 mil, I feel like we should probably get rid of him. And then the pitcher, Justin Brule. Where are the relievers? We're going to move down here. Just a guy that, you know, he's doing well in AA. He just doesn't really have a spot in the team right now. So we're going to make that trade. So after the trade, I was going to call up Kobe Mayo, but then I was looking at the team a little bit. I don't really want to take out Strand just yet because the numbers aren't terrible. Like, it's a good OPS who's slugging. It's just, you know, the average and on-base percentage is a little low, which is kind of expected. And we have Marte, who's been playing third for the last 10 games. And I wanted to get rid of Candelario while we could, just while he had some value, and get rid of his like $15 million contract. So here we go. We're going to see how Marte kind of takes over this third base spot. So far, it's not bad. It's just Kobe Mayo at any second. He could also just play the DH spot if we don't want to keep Winker around. He's hitting well. I just don't know how well he's going to continue to do that, right? Like, can he do it for another season? Is it worth paying him again next year, right? Especially when like his potential is B, but it just went up. So like realistically, he probably doesn't have much more room to grow as a player. And I would love to keep this around. So we'll keep an eye on it. So an issue also that's arising, Spencer Steer is starting to regress. So we're going to have to figure that out because like Jake Fraley's not really doing much. Fairchild's not really doing much. We could turn to what's Bubba Thompson doing at AAA? Nothing, and he's regressing. Could turn to Blake Dunn if need be. We also do have Roush, who does need to get called up because I'd say like the power numbers aren't there, but the rest of the numbers are looking pretty good in AA. So yeah, it might be one of those things where even he is not really doing much. Yeah, it might be one of those things where Spencer Steer might lose his job and only face lefties, which is kind of what we need anyways, because we need someone to take, where is he, Will Benson's spot against lefties, because we don't really have that right now because Fairchild's not really doing it. So what I could actually do is to kind of solidify, I might actually call up Blake Dunn. Where is he? Is he a center fielder? He is. Is he on the 40 man? He is. Perfect. And I'm going to send down Fairchild for now because he's just not really doing much with the opportunities he's been given. And then that opens up his spot there. And we're going to rock like this for the rest of the season. Do I change this? Maybe put Fraley in? I'm going to leave it. We have that one trade, which doesn't impact the team right now, but we'll see how it plays out. Pitching wise, it's been a mixed bag, but I feel like we have the depth where we can kind of chop and change as needed. So I don't really want to blow up the team too much more. Plus, with the offseason coming up, I feel like we can spend some money, make some moves. So let's leave the team as is. We have the top wildcard spot. We're only 2 games out of the Central, so I feel good about the team. So here's our draft. It actually looks pretty good. 89 potential for Hartman, which he looks like he's going to hit. He's got decent fielding, decent speed, and then a couple like lower potential guys, which I'm okay with. Gomes is probably a little bit of a reach on my part. I thought he was going to be a little bit higher overall, but okay. 84 potential for Infante, which, okay, that's not bad. 89 potential for Soriano, 8 potential for Leahy. I think it was 98, which is pretty good. And then Tom Lee was my last pick, and yeah, he's 50 overall B potential. So there's that. So if we looked at the rest of the league, there were some high potential players, which one team just didn't. Oh, I gotta remember that he wasn't signed. Royce Washington. But there were some high potential players. So here we go. Where are they? Not a lot of good players so far. But Danny Wilson, 86 potential is not bad. At the second baseman that we talked about has 94. Who else? One of the pitchers that we wanted had 87. The Rays didn't sign any of their picks, David Morrison being one of them. So I definitely need to keep an eye on out for that for future drafts. He might not be the next year's one, but maybe the year after. We'll see. I can't really remember how it works, like high school players going into college in this game. Like, will they be able to just hop into the draft next year, or do we have to wait a couple seasons? Kind of like when you hit college in real life, you have to wait a couple seasons to hit the draft. So you can kind of see more high potential players. Bowser was a guy that we had our eye on. 89 potential, 74 overall. I would have liked to have him drop to us, but he was a top 10 pick. We've got the second baseman, Ronald Pena, who looks pretty good. I mean, he looks pretty solid. This wasn't the one I was looking at, though. I think the one I was looking at was Sanchez, but he looks pretty solid. Ronald Pena, 62 overall, good hitting stats, not the best fielding, decent speed. Actually, was this the second baseman I was looking at? No, because this would have been the first round, and I wanted one in the second round. So this wasn't the one that I wanted, but he looks pretty good. 94 potential. Feliciano was the guy that we looked at too. He got drafted like top 15, I think it was. He looks good. 94 potential, A potential, 70 overall. Whoops. And then Ferguson was the other pitcher that we looked at with 89 potential. So yeah, we missed out on some really good players, but I think we did pretty well. I feel pretty happy with the players that we get. I didn't scout this guy at all, which is a bummer because he looks pretty solid, but I'm pretty happy with the picks that we got. So there we go. I think Hartman could potentially be a player that we see. Like, the overall doesn't look great now, but season 4 he'll probably be in the 70s, which definitely usable with his speed and hitting stats. So we'll see how it turns out. All right, so again, we're in the postseason, 87 and 75. We're playing the Padres again, I believe it was. Is that what happened last year? We played the Padres and we lost in the wild card. Was that? I think that's what happened last year. Either way, one game better than last year, which I guess makes a little bit of sense. I would have hoped it was a little bit better, but I'm going to adjust the lineups and then we'll talk about the league. All right, so we only finished one game back in the Central. I think the big thing for us is going to be pitching. I just feel like we need to up it a little bit. Sitting at a 4-team ERA isn't the worst, but it definitely could be a little bit better. Like, taking a look at just ERA as a team really quickly, just kind of see where we are. We're a top 10 team, but also I had to chop and change the squad a lot to kind of get it there. And then offensively, if we take a look, batting average, we are 13th, so around the middle of the road. So I definitely think that's an area we need to address too, just getting more guys on base. Runs, we are a top 10 team, so we are scoring, but at the same time, the average isn't great. Is this going to show me, like, let's see, on base percentage, we're 6th too. I just feel like maybe a little bit more consistency within the team is something we need. League leaders, Corbin Burns had the most complete games. And Casey, good lord. Oops, I didn't mean to back out of that, but you can kind of see some of the other ones, like Spencer Horwitz. What? Huh? All right, so with that in mind, 48 doubles for Witt, 48 for Bogarts, 12 triples for Jordan Lawler, 9 for Jeremy Pena, 51 home runs for Kyle Tucker, 46 for Owen Casey. Okay. Awards. Owen Casey was second in MVP behind Ohtani. Yordan Alvarez MVP for the AL side. Joe Ryan won Cy Young, and Zach Wheeler won it on the NL side. Batting title went to Owen Casey along with Aaron Judge, Brock Burke, and Morejon. Really, relievers of the year. And then rookie of the year went to Brady House, and Brooks Lee. Okay, so our team. As you can see, Andrew Abbott was one of our starters for majority of the year. Similar to last year, maybe slightly better, but I definitely need a little bit better because right now he's kind of slotting in as the 4, which is, it's not a bad season at all. Like I'm okay with this being the 4 spot. I would just like, obviously I want it to be better because if it is better, we're gonna get better results. Brandon Williamson didn't pitch at all, but let's get an extra lefty in the team. Martinez cooled off towards the end of the year. He becomes a free agent this year, so it will open up some money for us. There we go. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for from him. He may not be that closer, that shutout guy anymore, but hey, if he's giving me this in the bullpen, I'm happy with it. Sam Mole, I don't know if I'll continue to use him because you can kind of see the huge difference between the 2 seasons, but I think a lefty is something we definitely need in the bullpen because Chafin also put up a very similar stat line to this. So if I could get someone that's a little bit more locked down, that'd be great. TJ Anton was okay, 26 innings. Ian Gabot came up, gave me 6 innings, was fine. Lucas Sims continues to do well. He becomes a free agent next year. I am going to take that $2 million option, though, because for $2 million, that's a steal. Hunter Harvey becomes a free agent. He is slightly regressing. I'm going to see if I can get one more season. Just one more, because he's been fantastic. 9 blown saves is a little worrying, so we'll see what happens. If we look at our starters, Corbin Burns was the only one that had a sub-4 ERA, so I'm glad I paid him because that was huge. Hunter Green, yikes, not what I'm looking for, right? We got Nick Lodolo, also not the best stat line. And then Frankie Montas continues to be one of our best pitchers. 15 mil, I'll take it. I'm probably not going to bring him back. So next year, it's probably going to be Abbott in this 4 spot. We could turn to Connor Phillips. He did develop pretty nicely. It's just the controls and the walks could be an issue. So that's something to keep an eye on. He's still only 23, so it's not like I need to rush him. So I could also look to sign like another Frankie Montas type deal, 15 mil for a season or 2. That allows Connor Phillips to like get another season of development under his belt. Graham Ashcraft got a small, 10 games out of the long relief role. Not really much I can judge him on there. So we'll see moving forward. I'm also keeping an eye on Rhett Lauder. I definitely want to see how he continues to develop. So there's definitely some competition for these spots. It's just I might need to sign a veteran to hold it down for a season or 2 just to allow some of those guys to develop. So there's that. Offensively, Blake Dunn, not bad. 22 games, pretty decent season. I'm not too upset with that. Jonathan India, we've got 1 more year of ARB with him. I'm going to see if we can keep him as like our bench infielder. Held it down. I like those numbers. Espinal was fine. Again, he's kind of extra depth for us. Lucas Maley, backup catcher, that's fine. And then back to the pitchers. So Matt McClain, yes, give me more of that. 32 home runs from the leadoff role is huge. Ellie De La Cruz, oh no. Okay. This sucks. Beat potential, so he probably not going to develop too much more. He had like a 260 average, 250, something like that at the All-Star break, not All-Star, the trade deadline. What happened? Just fell from grace. Oh boy. Okay. That's not good. Jesse Winker though, 15 versus power versus lefties, 10 for contact versus lefties. Okay. 24 home runs. Yeah, I'll take that for sure. That's pretty good. I might actually try to sign him to another season as a DH. Will Benson, hey, I kind of called him out as someone that could be on the chopping block, and he came back and put up a career year. I mean, that's huge. Love to see it. Strand, still putting up decent numbers, 30 home runs. We do have that competition with Kobe Mayo, so we'll keep that in mind. Steer. Similar to Blake Dunn's numbers, obviously Blake Dunn was a very small sample size compared to Steer, but Steer might just be someone that I can only have facing lefties. It might just be that case moving forward. Marte, I'm pretty happy with those numbers. Only like half a season, quarter of a season, so we'll see how he does during a full year, but I think this is our third baseman moving forward. Could also move Ellie to third and him to short. That's fine. Tyler Stevenson, we've got 1 more season. He's got 1 more season to kind of prove. He did definitely improve this season. Everything went up. So, if he can hold it down at the catcher spot, that'd be great. And then TJ Friedel continues to hit well. So I'm going to keep him in center. So that's the team. Roush up to 69 overall. Like I said, could potentially move to the outfield. We'll keep an eye on that. We've got him, who looks pretty good. Hector Rodriguez has been developing, and Edwin Arroyo slightly developing, and Kobe Mayo got a small stint in the majors, and mixed bag, right? Like not the craziest of numbers, but also a very small sample size. And I think of other picks, I don't really think there's too many others. Maybe Cam Collier, but he's only a 65 overall. So we'll keep an eye on him. We'll see how things go. Postseason time against the Padres. We lost the first and get eliminated immediately. We lost 9-3. It looks like Sam Mole botched this one. We were up 3-0, then 3-2 after the 6th, and then the 7th we allowed 4, and the 8th we allowed 3. And then we lost here 6-5. Awesome. All right. 2 seasons, 2 wild card exits. The Padres ended up winning the World Series. Okay. That's tough. We definitely need to turn this ship around. So Sims I was going to take. I think we let every other player walk. Like Chafin can go, Montas, Harvey, maybe a season. What does he want? 9 mil? I mean, I will make him the closer. It's just 10 mil. Okay, I'm gonna think about that one. What does Winker want for a season? 7.5-ish, 8 mil. Again, that's really not that bad for a guy that's just like absolutely mashing, right? What about 8.5? And that's our DH. The story of Jesse Winker coming back and being the man. So I need a backup catcher. I potentially need a outfielder that hits righty pitching. It's because Steer is only going to face lefties. So Winker did come back on that 1-year deal, which is awesome. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz might be the biggest bummer of this whole rebuild. And then pitching, potentially one starter and a closer, because I didn't really offer Harvey that job. So Kyle Tucker would be a huge addition to this team. That might solve all of our problems. Anybody else here? Not really. I'm gonna have to figure this one out. This one's gonna be tough. Season 3, and as you can see, defense isn't great. Never is in my rebuilds. This is the team though. I feel like we're gonna be okay offensively. Like Ellie De La Cruz losing potential is definitely a huge bummer. Kobe Mayo is gonna be DHing on both the righty and left-handed lineup, and this is the team. I feel like we'll be fine offensively. The batting average might be a little bit of an issue, but I definitely think we'll get runs. Like that's not what I'm worried about. Pitching, I just need it to do well. Tyler Malley, whichever it is back with the Reds. I know it's been a little bit. Picked them up for 7 mil. It wasn't, like seasons haven't been great, but at least there was some improvement from 2024 to 2025. And with more innings being pitched and there being an improvement, I was like, it would be potential. He might have a little bit more room to grow. 7 mil, not the worst deal. Chris Paddock came in, same price, 7 mil, has been fairly decent. So I felt like these guys could hold it down for the time being with the rest of the pitchers still in the team. Brought in Caleb Ferguson, another Ohio-born player, whichever it is, whichever you prefer to say. I think Columbus was where he was born, so could potentially be a Reds fan. Who knows? But either way, he's in the team. Wasn't great last year, but I needed a lefty for the bullpen. I could also make a trade, so we'll have to wait and see how that pans out, because realistically, a couple of the lefties that we have in AAA haven't been great. So we'll see. We'll go Richardson over here if it would let me. I can't believe this is still a bug after like 3 years, where like if I choose a player and I try to move them in the bullpen, it just doesn't work. It's crazy. But rotation for AAA looks fantastic. Like at any moment that one of those could get called up. So I'm keeping my eye. Hopefully we get some really good development. Like I said, the lineup could be an issue. We do have a couple players that we'll keep our eyes on, like Rush. I picked up this guy in free agency last year. What? He looks insane. I'm gonna keep my eye on him. I know I've been saying that a lot this intro, but you know what? He looks like he's gonna be able to hit. So he could be a catcher that either ends up being the backup or just takes over for Tyler Stevenson if Tyler Stevenson doesn't do well. I did bring back Luke Maile just because I needed a catcher, and he was like one of the okay ones available. That was cheaper, right? 2.4 mil. I gave him 2 years on accident. I meant to give him 1. So yeah, we're gonna lose out on like 2.4 mil. So yeah, there's that. Otherwise, I like the team. I just need the contact to improve. I need Ellie De La Cruz to get better, and I just need everything to go right. Yeah, I forgot to mention I did sign Devin Williams. Big contract, 15 mil for 3 years, with the player option being that final season. I normally get 2025 Devin Williams, and that's normally why I don't sign him. I'm hoping we get 2024 Devin Williams. I'm also signing a lot of Brewers, I realize, and a lot of former Reds. Either way, that's the team for season 3. Let's get through it. Alrighty, I'm at the deadline. I'm going to pick up Tanner Banks from the White Sox. He's a lefty. I need pitching. Caleb Ferguson's going to the White Sox. He's been atrocious. And then I'm going to the Red Sox for Michael Kopech, who has an expiring contract. So I'm going to pick him up for Ethan O'Donnell and Mitchell Stumpo. So yeah, this was kind of the main piece of the trade, but I feel like Michael Kopech can help us out because, like I said, pitching in the bullpen has been a mess. And then I'm going to go to the Mets for 2 younger relievers. Marcelo Perez, 26, so there's that. But Felipe Ramos looks pretty good, so I'm going to pick him up from the Mets. They want a second baseman. I'm going to give him Jonathan India. He's just not getting ABs off the bench. He's having a good season, but he's about to become a free agent, and I just feel like, you know what, let's cash in while we can. We have Santiago Espinal, who's been getting more ABs, which I don't understand. So there's that. So yeah, we're gonna rock with that. So there we go. Both are about to become free agents anyways. Can I give them Espinal instead? And then maybe, hold on. Oh, it's just Jonathan India is more expensive. I mean, realistically, does it matter? No. So we're just gonna get rid of Espinal and keep Jonathan India instead. And now we only get 1 reliever, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. So I'm looking at the team here. The reason I did that was because, where is he? This guy is getting called up. So we are going to have him in the lefty lineup for now because Spencer Steer is bad. He is so bad. So he's going to get a run in the lineup versus lefties for now and potentially takes over next year. Everybody else is actually hitting fairly well. Ellie De La Cruz up to a 261. So maybe we're back. And then pitching, like I said, has been a nightmare. Corbin Burns isn't doing great, which sucks because we have 1 more season of him and he is regressing. We've got Hunter Green, who's got a 5 ERA. Lodolo's good. Abbott's good. He's good. Chris Paddock's been fine. I'm keeping my eye on these guys over here because for the most part, most of them are doing well. So am I going to get a good Hunter Green? You know what I mean? We had 2024, and then since then, it's not been great, which is super disappointing. The rest of the rotation is doing well. The bullpen's been a little bit of a mess, so I've been kind of moving people around. Devin Williams, though, has been solid, so I'm not freaking out yet. So the team's good. We're 4.5 games out, and I just need to sign a couple draft picks. The draft wasn't great, so I really didn't want to show you. So really quickly, I'll show you the draft. We've got Courtney here, 65 overall with B potential. Not bad. We've got a 57 overall player with B potential. Doesn't look like he's going to hit. We have 81 potential for Caraballo, who could potentially just be like a long reliever for us, depending on how he develops. We've got Oliva with B potential, 54 overall. B potential for Williams, and then B potential for Pugh. So there we go. And then I didn't sign Dell, and I'm kind of okay with that. He wouldn't have had that high of potential anyways. I looked throughout the draft, and there were some okay players. Like the Nationals had a very good draft, getting 3 pretty good pitchers. So there's that. Like that's pretty good for them. And there was also a player that returned. It was the shortstop. I think it was Downs. I forgot where he ended up signing though. He definitely got drafted, but he came back. And he was projected to be a top 10 pick. So I want to see if I can see where he went. It wasn't Stahl. I did look at Stahl. The reason I didn't draft him was his hitting stats looked terrible. I also think the Twins had the pick before us, or a couple picks before us, so I wouldn't have been able to draft him anyways. Molina was actually the pitcher that I wanted. He was ranked like 70th and was a top 10 pick. And then the Tigers took him in the top 10. So that was a bummer. I was really hoping he would have fallen to us, and he didn't. So I'll point that one out. I think outside of that, I'm going to see if I can find that shortstop that was in last year's draft that didn't get signed. So one sec. Oh, he went to the Rockies with 79 potential. Wow. Okay. Yikes. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. So I'm going to keep in mind, I didn't see the third baseman Morrison. I did see the left fielder, though. What was his name? Washington. He was also in this draft. He was right here. 80 potential. Okay. Interesting. So I'm gonna see if Morrison's in the draft next year because he should be pretty good. Other than that, once again, this is our draft. Not bad. Not bad. So we won the division 90-72, taking on the winner of the wild card, which is good. It's going to be the Braves or the Cubs, though. So there's that. If we take a look at the team, ooh, that's a mess. All right, so it looks like we have an award, but I want to take a look quickly at team rankings. Batting average, we got it into a top 10 spot, 6th overall, which is pretty good, which I'm pretty happy with. Runs, we were top 10. We were number 9. That's not bad. That's not bad. And ERA-wise, we are top 3. That's huge. That is huge. That's a huge jump for us. I'm not really too worried about league leaders, but we'll quickly hop through them just to kind of get an idea of how everybody's doing. Brooks Lee, okay. All right. Acuna at the top for the NL. Doubles, same thing. Acuna's there with Wyatt Langford on the AL side. And looking at home runs really quick, Ohtani was at the top, beating out Happ and Casey, and Aaron Judge won it. All right, okay, or had the most. And awards, I'm assuming it's probably Rookie of the Year for Mayo. Yeah. Lindor was MVP. I don't think I've ever seen that, so that's pretty good to see a different name for once. Judge won it on the AL side. We've got Michael King, who was Cy Young winner. Okay. Spencer Arrighetti? No. And AJ Smith-Shawvers. What? Beating out Ohtani, who had a pretty crazy season. Interesting. Batting title went to Lindor and Judge. Swanson and Ginkel were the relievers of the year. And then Kobe Mayo, who had 43 home runs, was the Rookie of the Year. And Samuel Basallo won it for the Red Sox. So it looks like he left the Orioles or got traded and had a pretty good season. Good Lord. And he's at 80 overall? Okay. This guy was actually drafted last year. Beat potential, 78 overall. Not bad. But Kobe Mayo, yeah, that's a pretty crazy season from him. So taking a look at the team, this is what we're going to rock with for the postseason. Chris Paddock, 4 ERA. Not bad for 7 mil. I think that's perfectly fine. I don't know if I bring him back just because I feel like some of the younger guys that we have are ready. Lodolo, 1 more year of arbitration. He's got 1 year to at least give me like a 4 ERA, just because this is not great. Diaz is starting to regress a little bit, which is super disappointing. So we've got 1 more year of arb. I think we can definitely get a good season out of him. He's been pretty good for us, pretty consistent. Tanner Banks was definitely just a 1-year guy, like in the trade. So with him regressing at 34 years old, totally understandable. I definitely will make some trades this offseason, or at least go really heavy in the pitcher market, because we need it. The bullpen was a mess this year, and I really had to just like constantly just jumble it around and make sure it worked. Kopech was not bad. I think I'd try to re-sign him. Be potential, 80 overall, probably could get a season. I think I'd be happy with that. Sam Moll didn't pitch at all, but that's just because like it didn't matter who I called up. It wasn't great. Like Lucas Sims sucked. Alex Young had 5 innings and was good, but then we traded for Tanner Banks, so that was the issue. Gibbo wasn't bad. He actually got sent down for Moll. That was the issue. Get him back in here. And then we but put Sam Moll not in the playoff roster. So there we go. Gibbo, not bad. I'm pretty happy about that. So there we go. And then TJ Anton was pretty good. Still fine, right? Like he was good. I'm not going to hate on his numbers. Those are great numbers to have for the setup role. It's just like, I definitely need to find better. It needs an upgrade. And then Devin Williams was really good, which makes me worried that we're going to get 2025 next year, since it seems to be a pattern here. Corbin Burns had a 4 ERA with a 1.2 whip. So like the ERA was a little bit high, but overall it wasn't a terrible season. Andrew Abbott was easily our best pitcher. Easily. He was fantastic. Tyler Mahle was good. Like I said, we were seeing improvements from 2024 to 2025, and then he comes in, almost gives us 200 innings and was solid, really good. And then Hunter Green, he got his ERA below 5, but it wasn't amazing from him. So he's another one of those that like we've got a long-term deal for him, but I really need better especially with Petty, Rhett Lauder, and Connor Phillips all right there. Even Graham Ashcraft got a little bit of MLB action as a reliever again and was pretty good. So he's probably going to take the Paddock role, and then one of these guys is probably going to take the 5. I just don't know who yet. Lineup wise, really quick, Spencer Steer wasn't great. He's one of those guys that even though he has arbitration, I probably will offer it to him just because it's not going to be expensive, but like realistically, he might get replaced. Blake Dunn has actually been pretty decent off the bench / versus lefties. So there's that. We've got Jonathan India, who we've talked about. He's cooled off for the second half of the season, so he's probably going to be somebody that's replaced. This guy was called up over Maley, and yeah, wasn't great. 67 at bats, but yeah, wasn't great. And then he also got a little bit of time and also wasn't fantastic, but I definitely expect him to be pretty good next year, hopefully, because he's going to play. Anyways, TJ Friedel was fantastic. Again, gets on base, good average. It was a little bit of a dip from previous seasons, but still fairly good. Matt McClain continues to improve and wasn't as good, but still fairly decent. Jesse Winker, looks like this is kind of the best we're going to see from him. Cooled off a little bit, but the good average, good on base percentage, just not as much power. So he's one where I think I'm going to let him walk, because even though there was slight improvements, I just don't know if he's going to hold his rating, or we sign him to be a bench bat because I want to get this guy into the team. So there's that. Will Benson continues to do well, so I'm not going to take him out. He's been fantastic. 27 home runs. He continues to get better. Encarnacion, oh, he got beat potential. What? But he went down in over. How does that happen? How do you go down, but then potential goes up? I don't understand that. Anyways, great season. Great season. Love it. And look at this. Yes, we had a bounce back year. The OPS went up. Love it. Not the craziest of like attribute growth. Like we're seeing players get like plus 12s, 14s, and everything like that. Like good growth, but nothing too crazy where I'm like, okay, yeah, but at least he had a better season. Kobe Mayo, like, he was good. I don't understand how he's hitting 43 home runs and Ellie De La Cruz is really bad. Like, their attributes are definitely different, but like, are they that different? You know what I mean? I guess maybe Kobe Mayo with the better vision is definitely helping him out. So there's that. Tyler Stevenson is looking to be replaced. Yeah, he's regressing. He hasn't been great. He's a free agent, so catcher's probably an area I need to look at. And Noel V. Marte has been fantastic. 29 home runs. Honestly, probably needs to get moved up in the lineup. I definitely need to just jumble up this lineup a little bit. I just don't know. Maybe Winker comes down. Maybe we go a little something like this. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the team. It's postseason time. Enough yapping. We're taking on the Cubs, and we are through. We are through. Perfect. Next up, the Dodgers, and we need a good outing here from our pitchers, and it's not looking great. Andrew Abbott, please. Eliminated. A few games short of a World Series, which is understandable. It's probably going to be the Dodgers that win it. The Twins win it. Okay. So we got 2 more seasons to win a World Series. We definitely took a step forward, and I feel like we're close. We're close. So I think I'm gonna take free agency off camera again, even exclusive negotiations, just because I'm gonna think about this because I want to see how I'm gonna arrange the team. But I think, is Paddock not in the exclusive negotiations? He is. Okay, so I'm thinking. So Lodolo comes over here. I don't know about these two just yet. Definitely going to call up one of those guys that we have in the farm system. Bullpen definitely needs an upgrade. And then if we rock something like this with Winker on the bench, and then him again comes in here, where is the upgrade? Center field? We have Friedel here. Friedel's in right. So someone that just hits lefties like really, really well. Do we have that in the farm system? I don't think we do. He could get called up to play outfield if we need him to. He hits lefties well, but he's definitely not ready. So Edwin Arroyo could come up and be like the new Jonathan India. Sal Stewart got beat potential. Wow, he looks actually kind of decent. Ooh, I might have some. Okay, I might have some decisions to make. Definitely a catcher. Definitely a catcher and bullpen help. Yeah. All right. Have you ever spilled water on yourself while you're recording, and you got to go change your shirt mid-recording? Yeah, that's what I did. So that was fun. Felt like I was in Splash Zone. Either way, we're here with season 4, and I spent a little bit of money. Let's talk about this team. So you can kind of see what we're working with here. I do need to change this a little bit. We're gonna go like, you know what? I'm gonna go a little crazy this season here. We'll go like that. All right. So now we're back. Now we're good to go. We're gonna get Elliott back up in the 2 spot with McLean leading off. Jesse Winker's back, and you're probably thinking, where's James? Where did he go? Well, he didn't have the best of time in the majors last year, so let's see what he could do in AAA. And if he gets hot, then we'll call him back up and put him into the team. Our AAA team looks pretty good. I've got some eyes on a couple players. I do want to get Hector Rodriguez involved. We'll see how that goes. This catcher didn't really do well last year, so we brought back Tyler Stevenson as our kind of clubhouse backup catcher type player. Yeah, we did sign Daniel Vogelbach just as like a lefty off the bench. That's really why I signed him, just because I felt like we kind of needed a little bit of balance on the bench. So this is currently our bench. As you can see, we did bring in Ryan Jeffers, and it was 12 mil for 3 seasons. I thought, you know what, he's a little bit of an upgrade on the catcher that we currently have. He's had some pretty good hitting seasons the last couple seasons. So you know what, we'll bring him to the team. Pitching wise, I brought back Tyler Mahle. Pitched really well last year. I thought, let's see how he does holding down the 5 spot. And you're probably thinking, where are the young guys? They're in AAA. And basically what's going to happen is, if someone sucks, they're going to get sent down. If Ashcraft doesn't pitch well, he's going to get sent down. Or I could move him to the middle relief situation. I could rock 2 long relievers. I'm really just going to move pieces around to make sure this rotation is as strong as possible. And I brought back Kopech. I brought in John Schreiber on a 1-year deal for 5 mil. And then I brought in JoJo Romero, another NL Central player, for 5 mil for the next 2 seasons. He's been fairly good. He's been fairly good. Plus, I needed a lefty just because I didn't trust Tanner Banks or Sam Mole because of their age. Other than that, like, I feel pretty good about it. We've got this young guy that we got from the Mets last season. And I know a lot of you guys are definitely waiting for Connor Phillips or Rhett Lauder or Chase Petty. I know. I do want to get them in, but at the same time, like, Andrew Abbott was good last year, so I don't want to take him out. Hunter Green has been kind of shaky, so he might be one that might lose his spot. And then Nick Lodolo becomes a free agent this year, and he's gotten progressively worse. So he's another one that, you know what, if it doesn't work out, we'll trade him to a different team, and then we'll start rocking with the young guys, because they're at the point where they definitely deserve a shot. So let's get into it. You've seen the team. Budget wise, it's the most we've spent. We've got 10 mil available, but next year, once again, we have quite a bit of money to play with. As you can see, there's only 4 players on the books. So yeah, Corbin Burns also becomes a free agent next year in the final season of the rebuild. So there's a lot that could happen. Let's get through season 4. So 95-67, we won the division, taking on the winner of the wild card, which, did we have the best record in the National League? We did. The Orioles had a better record along with the Guardians. And the West was competitive. What? Everyone was like 70. Oh, that's a gross West. Holy cow. All right, so I'm assuming this is going to be... Actually, wait, hold on. They moved... Who am I missing here? What? Okay. That's the only change I need to do. For once, it's not too crazy, but we're gonna call him back up. And then Ian Gibbo, who wasn't bad. It looks like he maybe got another shot in September, but he had a way higher ERA. Oh wait, no, I don't want Banks. I think that was the change I wanted. Let me see here. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's how I had it. Yeah. Why do I feel like I'm missing somebody? Graham Ashcraft. No, that's a mess. Oh, this is a mess. All right, so we had league leaders. It was Corbin Burns in win percentage and innings pitched. Okay. All right. Was this the guy that was part of the Arise trade? I think it was. Was he not? He's been insane. What? Holy cow. Those are insane numbers. Yeah, he was definitely part of the Arise trade. I know that name. Yeah, that's definitely unbelievable. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Of course, the Marlins also signed Juan Soto. That always seems to happen. I don't, I guess because they have some money to spend. Either way, we'll take a look at awards. We have a Cy Young winner in Corbin Burns. So Soto won MVP along with Yordan Alvarez. It looks like Glaber went to the Rockies. Okay. So we saw the Cy Young winner. There we go. That's huge. Skubal, who's now with the Guardians, won it on the AL side. Horowitz is still somehow like crazy good. Okay. All right, for sure. And then obviously we saw what this guy was putting up, which crazy numbers. Evan Phillips, reliever of the year, along with Bruce Dark Gratterall. So I think the Guardians are going to be pretty good this season. Like, I kind of want to, while we're here, I kind of want to see what this team's looking like. So offensively, everyone's hit above. Okay, so these it kind of falls off a little bit offensively towards the bottom, but not really with these two here. Bench is okay, but then pitching, I mean, that's a pretty strong pitching team. Yeah, that's a good team. That's a good team. So we'll go back to where we were. Relievers of the year, and then of course rookie of the year went to Richard Fitz and Thomas Sagassi. Okay, there's a guy that was drafted season 1, I believe it was, by the Giants. I think it was season 1 that he was there, because we talked about potentially drafting him, and obviously he got chosen before us. So we're gonna rock like this: the extra pitcher in the postseason. And you're probably thinking, whoa, 2 of your starters are not in the rotation. Yeah, I mean, we gave him how many starts? 16 starts. And it's not that he was bad. It's just like when I'm relying on him to be my number 2, it's just not doing it for me. He's really not. I guess he's slightly improved over the last couple seasons, but if we take a look at FIP, he is getting a little unlucky. He definitely is getting a little unlucky here. So that is tough. It definitely doesn't help that our defense is 30th, 23rd. So yeah, I mean, I guess we could look to improve the defense of the team a little bit, but like, let's see here. Yeah, like that 51's probably not helping. 55's probably not helping. 47, I feel like, is a little low for Marte. I guess, yeah, I mean, Winker in left field's definitely not helping. I guess we could do something like that, but I don't really want to get rid of Benson. Benson's been good. He did cool off a little bit this year, so maybe this is the year where we look to replace him. But like, I feel like, yeah, maybe that is the main issue. I guess we could take a look at what Abbott is doing. So he had a 4.3 ERA. His FIP's at 4.2, so it's not too different. If we take a look at who else struggled a little bit, Lodolo. Let's see, his FIP is 2. Okay, so he's getting really screwed here. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it might just be the fielding is really killing us. And I guess you could always say, hey, Antonio, we've been telling you for years to worry about your defense. Those are definitely killing your pitchers. And hey, this is my light bulb moment. It only took me like 17 years of rebuilding teams to realize that's probably a problem, huh? I also feel like 47 fielding for Marte is a little criminal. Is he really that bad at fielding? He can't be. He can't be. And also with the bat, he's been kind of nice, so I can't take him out of the team. So is that the move to just, I guess, have faith in my pitchers moving forward and see? Let's take a look. Where are we? Is this going to show me fielding percentage? Watch this be like last. We are 23rd. I mean, that's not great, huh? How many errors did we make? I'm just gonna go to the bottom. We were 23rd. Yeah, 81 errors. It's not ideal, huh? That could be the issue. That could be the issue for sure. Let's see. Connor Phillips. I mean, this is a huge light bulb moment. FIP 4.28. So he wasn't. Yeah, I guess we're getting a little screwed on the defensive side of things, which makes me think now. Do I have to blow up the team and go in a different direction? I definitely think an outfielder is the move. This guy's just, I was really banking. Look at those hitting stats. I thought he would be a little bit better, and he's just not putting it together. And even some of the other guys that I've been keeping an eye on, they're not really hitting well. He had a terrible season in AAA. He was not great in the majors or in AAA this season. And I think that's really about it for players that we could potentially call up. So like, it might be one of those things where we look to get a really good outfielder this year. Will Benson's been very, very good, but maybe he takes over a bench role for us. And then Encarnacion strength. Okay, look, we'll come back to that. Let's talk about pitching. Let's get back on track. We clearly need some fielding this offseason, and we'll go from there. So Hunter Green, like I said, you know, he wasn't bad. We do still have him on a very cheap contract, so we're gonna keep him around. And clearly, we need to boost up the fielding a little bit. Andrew Abbott is regressing, which is not what I want to see. He's got a couple years of arb left, so I feel like we're fine for now. Kopech was fine as well. You know, again, he becomes a free agent. We'll see what we do with that. We've got Romero, who honestly wasn't great, but now it makes me think, you know, what was the FIP like? Yeah, he definitely did better than what his ERA says. Yes, Diaz was fine. He was fine. The whip's a little high, but he wasn't bad. He does become a free agent. I'm a little hesitant to give him a deal though, but we'll see how it goes. He had a great season, so I probably will at least give him 1 year. Ashcraft, he was a long reliever. Then I saw some of our younger guys were pitching really well in AAA, so I thought, you know what, we need a middle relief guy. I threw him in that spot, and he was unbelievable. Like, he was very good. I might just make him a middle relief arm. Like, I feel like he's thriving here. Let's let him rock with it. Schreiber was unbelievable, and then Devin Williams, who we have one more season, hopefully he takes that player option, was also very good. So I'm happy about that. Corbin Burns, again, electric stuff, Cy Young winner. Can I bring him back? Should I bring him back? I'm not sure. It really just depends on the money that he wants. Lodolo, we talked about, definitely we need some better pitch or fielding. He continues to get better, and I don't think I can get rid of him if he's pitching like this, right? Like, this is good. He is 32. 12 mil is what we paid for him. Like, he's been pitching really well. I guess if we take a look at FIP for him, 3.2, it's not too much different. Like, he's been really good for us. Rhett Lauder got his debut this season. Got how many starts? 6 starts, and honestly, not bad. Not bad. Definitely could have been like lights out, but it wasn't bad. Connor Phillips, you know, again. Okay, all right. I'm not upset by it. So let's talk about the offense now. Yeah, he's not doing great. It sucks. Spencer Steer regressing heavily, but was honestly pretty good against lefties. That's literally the only place I had him play. We've got Barrero, who was pretty bad, and then our backup catcher was also stinky. So if we take a look at our actual lineup, you know, Matt McClain was fantastic. Ellie De La Cruz still improving, which is awesome to see. He kind of, I don't want to say plateaued, because I hope 91 isn't the best he could do, but, you know, didn't really grow much. Kobe Mayo is just going to be the best hitter in baseball. I'm really happy that we got him. Will Benson, we've talked about briefly. He's been good, but I think if we're looking to improve the team, he might be one that we look to upgrade. He's been fantastic for us though. Like, no knocking him at all. For a guy that I was thinking about cutting after 2024, I'm glad we stuck with him. He's been a great piece for us. Strand continues to just like not really develop. So he might be one that also gets moved to the bench to find a new first baseman with a slightly better glove. Marte at third. It sucks that his glove is bad because his bat's great. I might just suffer at third. And then Friedel continues to do well. Had a +9 for power versus lefties. I'll take it. Jeffers was fine. Wasn't as good as his last season, but was still pretty good. And then Jesse Winker was kind of in and out of the lineup. The power numbers definitely dropped, but was still fine. I'm not going to extend his contract past this year. So there we go. That's the team. We yapped quite a bit. Can we beat the Marlins, who we know has got a good team? So we lose. We're probably going to get eliminated here. Yeah. The Guardians defeat the Diamondbacks. The Guardians are clearly just a crazy team. Yeah, I think defense is definitely a must. So again, I'm gonna think about this one off camera. I'm gonna get to it. We're gonna have plenty of money to spend, but I think if we have, you know, Green here, Lodolo, maybe we bring him back. I'm still not sure, because like if I throw Abbott there, that's still a pretty good rotation. Bullpen looks fantastic. And then the only reason I didn't call up Petty this year was because he struggled. It was like 5 ERA in AAA all season. So could I throw Petty there and just rock, you know, with Petty here instead of Burns and Tyler Mahle or Malley? And then that's our rotation, basically an entire homegrown rotation, which would be kind of crazy. And then the bullpen looks fine. I felt like the bullpen was actually one of the stronger parts of the team. And then let's upgrade the defense. Let's see what we can do. In season 5, as you can see, I made the defense better. We are top half of the league. So let's talk about it. Pitching, I offered Lodolo and Burns qualifying offer. Burns declined, so Lodolo. So I had to offer him a contract. As you can see, this is what we were doing. I looked at it and I was going, man, his FIP is way better than his actual ERA. So I feel like we got to give him a chance with some better fielding. And I felt like there were some available players in free agency that would have done that. So this is currently what we're going to rock with for the season. It's homegrown. Every single player here is homegrown. You got Chase Petty, who was part of the Twins trade. Who did they trade to the Twins? Because wasn't that Chase Petty, Encarnacion Strand, and Spencer Steer? That was the trade. Who did they trade to the Twins? Wasn't that the trade? No, Chase Petty was the Sonny Gray trade. The Tyler Malley trade was the Steer and Strand trade. That's right. All right, so either way, there it is. And then this is our bullpen. It's basically the same as last year. I feel pretty confident in the squad. Maybe Schreiber lets us down because of his age. He's 34, going to be turning 35. So we'll see. Now, this is what we've got going on. So Isaac Paredes is playing first base for us, and Lubab in center field. Yeah, I didn't know Paredes was that good of a fielder. I also looked around on this roster. Not a lot of high fielding players, so it just kind of seems like that's a thing on this roster. So I don't. Maybe I test out different rosters moving forward that have a little bit better fielding, but at the same time, I do like that there is room to grow for a lot of players. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. Either way. 16 mil for Paredes and 14 mil for 2 years for Lubab. So there we go. Those are the two that we signed this offseason. Budget wise, we're pretty maxed out. Once again, 10 mil available, but it does kind of fall off next year with only 4 players on the books. So yeah, we've actually done fairly well with the budget. I feel like this team is absolutely insane, and the bench is looking pretty good. We do have a few guys that could potentially get called up in. Sal Stewart being kind of the main one I'm keeping my eye on. Those hitting stats look amazing. Cam Collier's another one where his hitting stats look pretty good too. So I'm going to see maybe he gets called up. I just don't know who he replaces or, you know, who he would come up here for. So we're going to keep our eye on it, see how things pan out. But yeah, the team's looking good. We have the best pitching. We're ranked second in all of baseball on paper. I hope it translates now. Maybe the pitching actually does what it's supposed to do. Keep runs limited. The defense limits runs as well. So let's get through this final season. So again, we won the division 94-68. I feel like that's the same record as last year. Taking on the Braves, though, that's a tough matchup. All right, looking at team ranking, we had the best or the third best batting average in terms of run. We were also the third best team. It looks like the Marlins are just absolutely insane. If we take a look at home runs, we had the most in baseball, just beating out the Padres. And I looked at errors. We had the least amount of errors in the league, and we also had the highest fielding percentage. So huge jump. And then ERA wise, you can kind of see we are top 10, just barely, but we are a top 10 team. And awards, no awards, which is super disappointing. But Vladdy won it with the Pirates for MVP, and Jordan won it on the other side, still with the Astros. Chase Hampton is the Cy Young winner for the Yankees with a 4.5 ERA. Is that what that said? And there was a 5 ERA. What is going on here? Shohei won it on the other side. Skeens, okay. And then Dino Zapata. Okay. Batting title went to Vladdy and Jordan. And then, okay, who's this guy? Definitely someone that was drafted, and looks like he's just growing like crazy. And he's been nasty. All right. Rookie of the year went to Chase Hampton. Kendry Rojas was second, and Roman Anthony was third. And then Dino Zapata, understandable, he was rookie of the year. Chase Petty was also in the mix. He did get some starts towards the end of the season and just pitched fairly well. So like I'm not hating on it. So if we take a look at our team, mixed bag. As you can see, Graham Ashcraft didn't get a single start, but he's going to be our guy to lead the line for the postseason, right? At least I'm going to probably rotate a couple things around. But Rhett Lauder, full season, struggled. And I've looked at the FIP once again, and like there's definitely some difference, right? There's like 0.6, right? And if you look at Hunter Green, who had a 5.2 ERA, his FIP was 4.3. We had the best defense in the league. So like, I don't really know what to do with that info. Maybe Hunter Green just, how many quality starts did he have? 6 out of 33 starts. Yeah, I mean, that could be an issue too. Pitched 170 innings over 33 starts. I mean, that's not ideal. You know, it's tough. You know, you got Michael Kopech here, who was very good out of the bullpen once again. You got Jojo Romero, who was also pretty good out of the bullpen. John Schreiber struggled a little bit, but he's still one of our better arms that we can turn to. We've got Ian Gibbo, 4 innings pitched. We'll see how he does. And then Alexis Diaz was fantastic in the setup role, along with our closer, Devin Williams. I don't really have any other pitchers that I can turn to that I feel comfortable in the bullpen. Ooh, actually, hold on. He was a starter, and I made him a reliever. But otherwise, I can't turn to him because I added him to the 40-man too late. What I could do is like make one of our starters a reliever instead. Like we could go, I mean, maybe Ashcraft steps in for Schreiber. We send Schreiber down and we just rock the 4-man rotation with the 2 long relievers, which means I could add an extra bat, which we're going to add Sal Stewart. And then we get rid of Schreiber, who struggled, and go like that. I know I just said I was going to let Ashcraft be a starter, but he's actually been fantastic in the bullpen, so we might as well keep him there. As you can see, you know, a 3.7 ERA, like he's been good. He pitched 120 innings out of the bullpen, got a couple saves. He did blow a couple saves, got some holds. He was kind of doing everything there. So our bullpen wasn't bad. Like that's kind of been the strong suit. It's just been the starters have been a mixed bag of good and bad. Andrew Abbott wasn't terrible, 4.2 ERA. Obviously, I'd like it to be a little bit better. We had a 2026 season where he had a 3 ERA, and then since then it's been bad. FIP at 3.3. Connor Phillips, he was a 4 ERA, which okay, again, not bad. He was our 4th, 5th starter, so solid work. If you look at the FIP, 2.8. So like getting a little unlucky there. Obviously, it's not all related to the team being bad in fielding, but it's just, you know, getting a little unlucky in the game. Lodolo, 4.7 ERA with a 1.3 whip. Let's see the FIP, 3.5. So I feel like they're pitching better than what their numbers suggest, but at the same time, he also did allow 30 home runs, did allow quite a few hits. So we'll see. Chase Petty also was fairly good. You know, the hit numbers are fine. 30 home runs, a little high, but like again, I do feel like we got a little unlucky with the pitching in this rebuild. I really do. I think we definitely are a better team than what is showing on paper. And even if you look at the league as a whole, I guess I shouldn't look too much into it because where is the ERA? We were a top 10 team, technically ERA. I guess if we look at like runs allowed, we were the 5th best in terms of runs allowed. Hits allowed, we were 15th, so that's kind of an issue. We're just allowing a lot of hits, just not a lot of runs. If you look at it, you know, tied for 9th in earned runs. So I guess that's kind of the problem. How many home runs were we allowing? We are top 10 team. So I mean, yeah, we just got a little unlucky, allowing a lot of hits. It seems striking out a lot of people too. So yeah, we're just allowing a lot of hits and a lot of walks. A lot of hits, a lot of walks. That was our problem. All right. That's fair, I guess. Offensively, you know, the bench was actually kind of nice. If you look at like everybody, Tyler Stevenson was fairly good. Edwin Arroyo, given the chance, was fairly good. We've got Sal Stewart, who's now going to join us for the postseason. Will Benson, also fantastic once again. And then Encarnacion Strand, again, not bad. The bench is actually looking pretty good. Ellie De La Cruz developed a little bit more, had his best season so far, which is awesome to see. TJ Friedl, slight regression, but was still very good. He's been super consistent throughout the entire rebuild. I mean, look at these last 3 seasons. It's almost identical every single year. Kobe Mayo had a down year, still hit 46 home runs. Paredes is slightly regressing, but he had a very good year, almost 300 average. We've got Marte, who continues to hit the ball very well. Lubob, 31 home runs, and not the best numbers outside of that. We've got Ryan Jeffers, who was pretty good, good average, good on base percentage, OPS sitting just under 800. And then James finally put together a respectable season. And Matt McClain got moved down just because he was struggling a little bit. He did hit 35 home runs, which is awesome, but the average and on base percentage dipped a little bit. Still an 813 OPS though, so I guess wasn't as bad as I thought. Pretty good season. I actually might move him back up. Maybe not. I might leave it like that. Let's see how we do against the Braves. Oh, we're a wild card team. Wait, what? Oh, that's right. Because of the record. I got you. Because the Marlins had a better record and the Padres had a better record. We got to take on the Braves that currently look like this. Nacho Alvarez Jr. has been called up. Mason Wynn. They got Mason Wynn and Chas McCormick. Okay. What's their pitching looking like? Like, their bullpen's okay. I feel like offensively, if we can shut down that offense, we should be able to get to that pitching staff. Alrighty, here we go. Andrew Abbott, Spencer Strider. We win 7-5 and we win 9-5, which is huge. Lodolo's gonna take the mound here. I think I'm just gonna roll. What? Oh boy. I might just, maybe we flip it like that and see how that goes. I do want to check out the Padres lineup, see what they're looking like here. And Ian Happ, Jared Walsh, Ramon Urias. Okay, Ethan Salas has been called up. Interesting team. Let's see the pitching staff. Yeah, we should beat this team. We should absolutely destroy this pitching. And I feel like this is an offense that we should shut down too. I feel like this is definitely ours. But at the same time, I did just see that we had two pitchers with a crazy ERA of a 5 and a 10. So there's that. So here we go. Lodolo versus Snelling. We lose 8-2. Like I said, pitching might not be our best strong suit right now. 11-1 for the next one. 11-6 and 5-3. So okay, maybe I was wrong. I don't know if I can let Lodolo take game 1 though, especially against Yuri Perez. So let's readjust everything. I think maybe he goes game 3, see if we can get a little rebound against the Marlins, who this is probably going to be our toughest matchup. I mean, the team's gross. This guy's hitting like 700 every season. I don't understand it. This guy's insane. Obviously, they have Juan Soto. They have Bregman. This whole team is new. Tyler Black, the former, the Brewer. I mean, this little portion, I don't even think Carlos Jorge, is he a red? Did I trade him? Hold on. He is a red. I did trade him. When did I trade him? Or did I release him? Did I trade him? Who do we have from the Marlins? Who did we have from the Marlins? Now I don't remember. He's got B potential now. I mean, he hasn't really done much, but okay. And then looking at their pitching, okay. Yeah, this one's going to be tough. This one's going to be super tough. And who's pitching? Petty. Ah, man, this is looking tough. So Petty, game 1. Can we do it? 2-0. That's a tough loss. But we do win 8-2, 2-1. Okay, 2-2 on the series. Petty gets his revenge. We win 5-2. Connor Phillips, can you close it out against the Luzardo, who has an 11.5 ERA so far in the postseason? It comes down to Lodolo. And we win 3-2 to take on the Yankees or the Guardians. And it's going to be the Yankees. Okay. What do we have for the Yankees? Nico Horner. Okay. Harold Ramirez. Judge, obviously. The Martian. Okay. Kind of like half and half for like original Yankees and original Yankees and like new signings. But again, I feel like this is a pitching staff that we can take advantage of. It's just this offense is kind of sneaky good. So again, let's take a look here. Andrew Abbott for game 1. How long has it been since the last series? So who pitched here? Lodolo. So probably not Lodolo for game 1. I'm thinking Petty once again. Maybe Lodolo game 2. Do I let Rhett Lauder pitch? He's been really good. So maybe Lauder and then maybe Hunter Green instead of Abbott. And that's our new rotation for the World Series, which is a crazy move to do. But looking at the offense came to play except for Lubov and Matt McClain. Everybody else is absolutely doing their job. So I feel good about it. I do want to double check, make sure the pitching's all good to go. It is. All right, let's do it. Alrighty, Chase Petty, I need you to start us off right against Chase Hampton, the Cy Young winner who has a 6 ERA through, I think, 4 starts. 4 starts. It's a good start. 9-4. Okay. 7-1. So Rhett Lauder came in, shut the door. And can Hunter Green, can he sweep the Yankees for a World Series win with the Cincinnati Reds? He does. 6-2. And those 2 changes panned out, right? Allowed 2 runs, allowed 1 run, and then 4 runs in the first 2 games. I mean, talk about pitching that was super sus to start the postseason. They come in and get the job done. MVP for the World Series, Matt McClain, who was hitting like 100 for the postseason, turns it around, hits 333 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs. And then you can kind of see the rest of the squad here popped off in the postseason. Love to see it. Really quickly, the lineup, I mean, Ellie De La Cruz hit almost 300, 319 for Friedel. Kobe Mayo kind of struggled a little bit, but Paredes, Marte low-key was like really good once we called them up, like insanely good. And then Jeffers, solid pickup at catcher. He finally put it together this final season. Overall, just we had some really unsung heroes, especially Will Benson. Low-key, he was very good this entire rebuild. Definitely one of those unsung heroes. And then pitching staff, I would definitely say Ashcraft. I mean, he just came in and got the job done wherever we put him. You know, Alexis Diaz surprisingly was pretty good. I know in real life he's been pretty bad. And then pitching was just kind of a mess, but it got the job done. And as you can see, you know, these 4 definitely did their work in the postseason. These 2 kind of, but hey, we won a World Series. That's all that matters. Sadly, couldn't feature Cam Collier in this rebuild, but this is currently what he looks like. And the other one that we really didn't get a shot to see, Sal Stewart, which was another one that kind of developed the best out of the bunch. Like we had a couple others, you know, Jay Allen was not really developing well. Hector Rodriguez, 24. He looks okay, but he just never really hit well in AAA for me to call him up. And outside of that, you know, we had a couple prospects that we drafted that looked good. But again, with the team that we had, they just never really had a chance to make it. So that's the Cincinnati Reds rebuild. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoyed the content. And in the comment section, who do we rebuild next? If you're looking for some more rebuild content, check out the one that is on screen now. I definitely think you'll enjoy it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.